Hey beauty, are you distracted all day long, all the time? What exactly are you missing out on when you're distracted so much? That's what we're going to talk about on this show. Let's get into the show.
If you want to move away from modern medicine, if you want to discover healthier alternatives for your family, if you want a healthy body, then you're in the right place. Hey beauty, I'm Alexandra. I'm an author and clinical research nurse who discovered that Jesus is the source of true healing. I am the Lord your healer. Exodus 15:26.
I know I've said this before, but someone said that we are really not busy like people used to be busy. I mean, we don't wash our own clothes, we have washing machines, we have dishwashers, we have cars, we have planes, we have all of these things to help us. We have grocery stores on every corner if you live in the US. I know there are other people who live in other countries, but most of us don't grow our own food. We have all these appliances to help us. And yet, all of us are always saying that we're so busy, right? We're just so busy, we don't have time for anything. Now, for some people, this is true, especially for people that are taking care of maybe their elderly parents or single moms or people that have just had babies or have really young kids. Those people are really busy. But a lot of us just get so distracted by so many things. And I really think this is a huge problem, especially in the US. So I'm going to talk about mostly technology, and these things are not necessarily, it's not morally wrong to do these things unless God, Holy Spirit, has shown you that He wants you off some of these things. But think about it. There are so many people start so many chats in so many texting threads in my church. Whenever you join a group, you get put into a WhatsApp chat. And then there's Facebook Messenger, and then there's DMs on Instagram, and then I don't know, TikTok probably has something. I'm not even on TikTok. There's Voxer, and then you have social media, not just the chats and social media, but you have people posting on Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, all these different platforms. And then you have TV, you have a smart TV with so many apps and so many programs and so many shows and so much news. You have email, you have so many notifications on your phone going off all the time. And things like certain chats, like WhatsApp chats at church, they can be good, especially if you're sharing prayer requests or you just need some encouragement. Once again, I'm not saying that any of these are necessarily bad, but I think it's good to examine how much time we're spending on on all of these platforms. Here are 4 reasons why I think you should get rid of as many distractions as you can. Number one, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably want to get healthier, right? Well, I hear from people all the time saying they don't have time to work out, they don't have time to work on their health. Could be true for some people, but is it really true for you? We crave convenience, right? We sometimes we just want someone to tell us what to do. This makes me think of one of the myths from my book, Discover God's Health Wisdom, Exposing 8 Common Myths That Keep You Sick. One of the myths is, I can sit back and let the medical system take care of me. The truth is that the nurses and doctors are very busy. They're stressed out. They have way too many patients. They have way too many things to do. They have to spend so much time documenting everything that they do so that the hospital won't get sued. There's a lot of conflicts of interest with insurance companies and the pharma companies and the people that basically profit off of keeping you sick. So if we can get rid of some of these distractions, we'll actually have time, we'll actually have the bandwidth. If we spend some time in silence, we can actually spend some time thinking about what is best for our health. We can actually spend time with God, asking Him what He wants us to do about our health, whether it be choosing a new practitioner or saying no to a treatment or saying yes to a new treatment or just changing the diet a little bit. Whatever it is, if you don't get rid of some of your distractions, you will not have time to focus on your health. You will not have time to actually think about what the doctor is telling you. You will be tempted to just go along with whatever he or she is telling you because you don't have the time, right? You don't have the time to do the research. You don't have time to think about it. You don't have time to pray about it. So I just want to encourage you to make that time. Get rid of some of the distractions so you will have more time to do some research, to pray and ask God what the wisest thing is for your particular situation. Another reason why you want to try to get rid of distractions is because Satan wants to steal, kill, and destroy. I don't want to spend too much time on this topic because I don't want to give Satan too much credit. But it's true. He wants to steal everything that he can. He wants to steal your health. He wants to steal your peace, your joy, your adventure. I feel like God has been showing me that God is a God of adventure. And too often we're not living the adventurous life he intended us to live. Instead, we're staring at this piece of metal slash plastic in our hands for so many hours in a day. And we're thinking that by being in all these chats or being on social media or binge watching, whatever we're binge watching, that it's adventurous, it's entertaining. Well, it is entertaining, but it's really not adventurous. It's really not, in my opinion, the life that God intended us to live. And I'm not saying that we should never do it. I'm not saying that, I'm not even giving you a time limit, but I heard that, I don't know what age group this is, teens or something like that. They spend 6 hours a day on social media or something like that. And man, 6 hours a day. Think about how many hours per month or per year that is. If you are being distracted, you won't be able to hear God as clearly. He might be wanting to give you direction on your health or your financial situation, or he wants just spend time with you, give you peace and joy, which leads me to the third reason why I want to encourage you to get rid of distractions. Number three, God has better things for you. He wants to spend more time with you. He wants you to know how to receive his peace and joy. He wants to give you rest. He has things that he wants you to do, things that he specifically created you for. He wants to fulfill some of your dreams and desires. It could be that many, if not all, of your dreams and desires were given to you by God. And you might be thinking that it's impossible, or my dreams are selfish, or they don't matter. But if God is the one who's giving you those dreams, those aspirations, that hope for the future, that sense of adventure, that sense of wonder, if He's giving it to you, and you're sitting back being distracted by all this technology or whatever you're distracted by, you're missing out on God's best for you. And I'm not saying that God will necessarily, make you rich or give you all the material possessions that you want. However he wants to bless you. Maybe he just wants to bless you just with more peace, more joy in your life, but you're missing out on it because you're so distracted watching the news all the time or being on social media all the time. Whatever you're doing, you're going to miss out on God's best for you if you are distracted. Lastly, I want you to try to get rid of distractions because someone said something like this: you don't know who will benefit from your obedience. If you feel like God is calling you to create better boundaries when it comes to technology or certain distractions, and you are obedient about that, maybe you will gain clarity on a dream He's given you. Maybe you will find hours in your week that you could be spending with your child or your elderly parent or a friend of yours, just precious time that you will never get back. Maybe he has a special project just for you. Maybe he has an exciting trip just for you. He has so many things that he wants to show you, that he wants to give you, that he wants to do for you. Whatever God wants, whether it be serving someone. Maybe he wants you to become a ministry leader. Maybe he wants you to start a nonprofit. But once again, if you're so distracted that you can't hear his voice, I feel like that is such a tragedy because what if he has, I was about to say, what if he has a huge calling for your life? I think, now that I think about it, after I just said that, I feel like God has a huge calling for everyone. So if you are still alive, God has a huge calling for you. And in your eyes, it might not look huge, but when we become less distracted, when we put our focus on God, when we really want to serve God and serve others, just the smallest acts of obedience can affect one person, that can affect the next person, that can affect generations upon generations upon generations. So, those are four reasons why I think you should work on trying to get rid of some of your distractions. Number one, you will be healthier. Number two, Satan comes to steal, kill, and destroy. So don't let him steal anything because you are distracted. Number three, God has better things for you. And number four, you don't know who will benefit from your obedience. So here are some ideas on how to get rid of some of these distractions from technology. You can remove yourself from some of the chats that you're a part of. You can put them on silent. You can turn your notifications off. I heard one business owner said that during the day she turns all her notifications off except for calls, incoming calls. So if someone needs to reach her, they will have to call her. You can remove apps from your phone. Personally, I don't have the Facebook app, the Facebook Messenger app, the Instagram app, any of those messenger apps. I don't have any of those on my phone. I do have Voxer. I do have WhatsApp, but I don't really check WhatsApp. I hardly ever check it, even though I'm on certain chats. And once again, I'm not saying it's bad if you do check it. I did used to check it, but I just felt like it got just really distracting for me, and I just didn't have time to sift through so many messages. So another thing you can do is if you aren't able to check your chat messages on, for instance, WhatsApp, if you see like you have 200 messages, you don't have to go all the way back to read all of them. Just maybe try to catch up on the current day's messages or something like that. You can set boundaries on TV, maybe only watch TV at certain times. Basically, in our family, because we homeschool and we're busy and the kids have chores, the kids don't really have screen time unless it's the weekend. So you can set boundaries there. When it comes to reading fiction, I can read fiction books for hours and hours. So what I do is I have goals to read nonfiction books too. So what I do is that I make sure I read at least 10 minutes of a nonfiction book before I start reading my fiction books. So you know yourself, you know what boundaries you need to set. And if you're really serious about this, I would encourage you to find an accountability partner because, like I said, in my opinion, this is a huge deal because we can't get time back. We can't ever get it back. And you know what's so sad, in my opinion? There's just so many people that are so talented at so many things. Like when I was a kid, I always used to admire people who are really good dancers or really good singers or who were really smart or really athletic. There are just so many talented people out there, but unfortunately, so much of that talent is wasted because we're just so distracted by technology and so many things. So I really encourage you to find someone who wants to work on this as well, someone who really wants to be intentional with their time. I know I've been saying to get off social media and stuff, but social media can be good for finding like Facebook groups of people of like-minded people. Maybe you can find an accountability partner there. Just don't spend hours and hours and hours on Facebook. For me, I actually have a Facebook group and I have a Facebook account, but I actually don't follow anyone. I don't look at anyone's posts. You don't have to be like me, but wherever you need to set boundaries, I encourage you to set boundaries. And if you have trouble sticking to your boundaries, just try to remember some of the reasons that I gave you, good reasons why I wanted to encourage you to cut out distractions. Remember, God has amazing things for you. Also, you don't know who is on the other side of your obedience. Someone in your circle, in your church, someone around you might need your support, your wisdom, your talent, your encouragement. I know that God has given you gifts, and if you use those gifts for His glory, you can change the next generation and the generation after that and the generation after that. So please don't get distracted. Once again, I wanted to remind you of my free guide. Go to herholistichealing.com/free to download my free guide for you, Holistically Healthy Woman, 4 steps to move away from modern medicine for Christians. This is a great guide if you want to have a healthier body, if you want to get into natural health and move away from modern medicine. Thanks for listening today. I will talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening today. If you like what you heard, would you take a minute to leave the show a review? If you want to connect with me, you can join me in my free community. The link is in the show notes, or go to herholistichealing.com. Matthew 11. Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls.
For you is easy and my burden is light.
This content is for informational purposes only and is not meant to be medical advice.